The World Health Organization labeled burnout as a legitimate health condition in 2019. Now, this is important, and I think it's especially relevant to women because we live in a very masculine society that encourages and values perpetual productivity. And our society doesn't value rest and relaxation. That's a problem. You know, a farmer plants the seeds and the seeds sprout and then they harvest that crop. And after that, farmers know that the soil needs time to replenish its minerals in order for them to have a harvest the next year. You see this everywhere in nature, and as humans, we have neglected this really important part of the process that we need to, sustain these goals and these big dreams. So right now we're burning out. And again, a big part of that is because we're operating on this 24-hour masculine schedule. What I mean by that is that men's hormones are very static. So, for example, they wake up, testosterone and cortisol are at their highest, gradually going down. Estrogen kind of appears midday, which makes men maybe want to be a little bit more social. And then by the end of the day, all of those hormones are really at their lowest. And that's when they just want to veg out on the couch and chill. Pretty simple, pretty much the same day after day for men. But women, we don't operate on a 24-hour schedule. Our hormones are much more dynamic and complex. And this is a big part of the reason we've been left out in research for decades. Because men's hormones are more stable, which makes them much easier to study and get consistent results from, versus women's, which are fluctuating over the course of the month, pretty dramatically in some cases. And we need to understand this because these hormones, we're not just talking about a period. These hormones affect our brain, how our brain operates. For example, the first half of our cycle, when estrogen is more dominant and serotonin is more dominant, our happy neurotransmitter, we are more social. We have better communication skills and we're more creative during that time. So that's a really good time to be starting projects. Now, the second half of our cycle, that is when serotonin and estrogen drop off and progesterone, our calming hormone, really appears. And that makes us more introspective. That makes us a little bit more introverted and more detail-oriented. So we're more likely to complete tasks and focus on those small details and less interested in being social and collaborative like we are at the first half of the month. Now, this is something that hasn't been acknowledged at all, and it's part of the reason why so many women are burning out. We're trying so hard to operate on this 24-hour cycle and expecting to wake up and feel the same every single day. But it's not supposed to be that way. And if you're, neglecting that, and when you're in your second half of your cycle, when your body encourages you to nurture yourself and rest, just like the farmer with the crops, if you're not resting and allowing that time to replenish yourself and fill up your cup, if instead you're just pushing the limits, just drinking copious amounts of caffeine, trying to get through the day, and other stimulants, then you're gonna burn out. And this is a huge reason why so many women are becoming self-employed at a higher rate than men. They're starting their own businesses. It's because we want to set our own schedule, right? Because we don't want to operate on this 24-hour schedule that we don't really thrive on. So this perpetual productivity mode is obviously doing us some harm, really everyone in our society. And society has taught us to really harness this masculine energy, and that has caused us to really neglect our feminine energy. And, birth control definitely doesn't help by messing with our hormones, making us less in tune with that process and that really important cycle. But we're just becoming more and more disconnected. And this has a lot of consequences. We're becoming disconnected from our bodies, and I tell you guys all the time, When our body is presenting symptoms and side effects, brain fog, joint pain, cramping, migraines, you name it, digestive issues, all of those are your body trying to tell you something. Something is off. Maybe you're not getting the nutrients you need. Maybe there's a large toxic burden in your body. Maybe you have too much chronic stress. It's your body trying to tell you something. And the fact that we're ignoring our bodies, we're becoming dissociated with our bodies, we're not able to pick up on those signals, which leaves these underlying causes untreated. And when they're untreated, they're left to their own devices. They can go and they'll wreak havoc on our bodies if we let them. And that's really what's happening in large parts, why people are so ill. We're working ourselves to the bone to, reach these goals, be successful, but at what cost? I mean, if our hormones are out of balance, if we're totally depleted, if we're never putting ourselves at the top of our to-do list, how is that affecting our relationships? How is that affecting our own happiness and our own health? So it's not just about the destination. I know it sounds a little cheesy, but seriously, life is, that's what's happening right now. And we're all just trying to get to this goal, trying to have this big house, trying to have this much money, and life is just passing us by. So it's time to get more in tune with that 28-day cycle. And for men, you might be rolling your eyes. This is relevant to you as well because you work with women, you have mothers, you have partners, and you are also surrounded by women. And so it's incredibly important that not only women tune into this cyclical feminine pattern, but that men understand it as well, so that we're not labeled as crazy or hormonal or irrational or sensitive anymore. But we're more understood. And I think that this is just so important because this endless pursuit of more, of success, is making us sick. It's making us sick. We're tuning out, and we need to be tuning in more than ever. Rest is a form of self-care. You are not lazy for resting. You are not lazy for relaxing. From an evolutionary standpoint, my dog, Tommy, he will sleep all day. And that's because he's trying to preserve energy. His body's doing some healing during that time. And our bodies are predisposed to conserving energy rather than expending energy. But we feel like today, we have to do more to get more. But sometimes less is more. This quote that I love is, the mind is like water. When it's rocky, it's really difficult to see. But when it's calm, everything becomes clear. And I just think it's so important because we're going off in these directions that maybe we're not happy with. Maybe it's not really the direction that our life should be going, but we're just so overwhelmed and stressed and just trying to get through each day that we're ignoring those important signs and neglecting our own health and happiness. So I am really excited to share with you guys a bunch of videos I've created to help educate everyone on this female 28-day cycle and how to work with our cycle, and how PMS is not normal. It is common, but it is not normal. And I'm just hoping that this will help women tune in, understand what their symptoms are trying to tell them, really get to the root cause of a lot of these imbalances so that we can achieve more happiness and then ultimately more success.